Okay, Tim, we're live.
All right, we're live. Tim Arrowood here, People's Home Equity. So I'm going to talk to you all since everybody else is distracted over here. There's too much fun going. There's a baby here. So if you're not here, you should be here because there's a baby here. Right? So, I don't, what is your name? Liam? Oh, right. Liam is here. So actually I had a question for everybody. We're going into this year, and I'm just curious. Well, a couple quick things. What's any mortgage? I mean, I'll talk about mortgages all day, but it's kind of boring. So, but are there any mortgage questions that you may have, like scenario stuff or anything that's like you've been meaning to ask mortgage guy? So if you don't, that's okay. So anything? You Matt? Huh? You Matt?
Huh? No.
Paying attention, Matt? Huh?
I am. Hey.
Am I supposed to have a mic on? It's okay? All right. Just making sure. So, that's okay. So, I don't know that there's anything unique.
I mean, Jessica has a question.
Oh, you do?
I have a question.
Yes. Jessica has a question.
How does it affect financing if there's a double wide on permanent foundation, but it has an addition?
As an addition. So, it's actually...
Rate.
Okay, so how does it affect financing if we have a double wide on a permanent foundation, but there's an addition to the double wide, right? So I call those Frankenstein houses, where they've been built onto, and it's kind of more. So it is generally not a problem. It needs to be on a permanent foundation. It needs to be. There may be sometimes there's a structural. Well, there'd be typically a structural inspection required for the double wide to make sure it is on a permanent foundation. Sometimes I've seen where there needs to be, when the appraiser looks at it, there might be like, this seems a little odd. I wonder if this is built correctly, and those kind of things. There may be an inspection required for that. But once a double wide or once a manufactured home, always a manufactured home. So I've had them where there's nothing left but the beam, like the metal beam and a plate. And so it doesn't look like it. There's really nothing left of that house. It's all been replaced, but upon further inspection, you find out that there's like the main beam or there was an axle left. Like, where'd that come from? And now, boom, it's a considered manufactured home. So the pricing can be different for that, and the requirements can be a little different from that. Does that answer your question? Cool. So, so the big thing is permanent foundation. And we can do double wides for conventional FHA, DA, USDA if they were built after 2006. And I'm told that we can do single wides. Scares me to death, but maybe the single wides that are on permanent foundations that like were built onto, and now it's something different. But many times the single wides are not on a permanent foundation. So it's kind of like, yes, you can, but...
I sold one VA with single wide.
Is that right?
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Right. So, and I assume that it had to be on a permanent foundation and all that. Yeah, so,
Same stuff as double wide, but now they just need single wide.
yeah, so yeah, those are things that we can do. It's a little, we were scared about doing double wides up until about 5 or 6 years ago, and we've done enough of them now that it's like, oh yeah, we do that. We've even done them with THDA. So, all right, so ask you all a question. So, what is the second Thursday in February known as? Second Thursday in February. Going once, going twice. It's the New Year's resolution fall off the wagon day. I was just listening to a podcast from Brian Buffini, and he was talking about that. So, second Thursday in February. It's evidently like it is a statistically a real day that retail merchants use. It's like there may be a drop in fast food consumption, and then the second Thursday in February, the second Thursday in February, then fast food consumption goes up. And second Thursday in February, like gym memberships will drop, different things will happen. So in terms of having it's the difference between a New Year's resolution and goals and planning and things like that. So I thought that was a pretty cool that like actuaries or people you own a maybe you're running Taco Bell and you're trying to figure out, what does, every year about this time, this happens, that happens. So statistically to see that would be pretty cool. So, so who's put together New Year's resolutions this year? Any New Year's resolutions? I know your New Year's. I'm going to get married this year.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, so that works. That's right. So, so how about goals? Who has set goals for the year? 1, 2, Misty, you have, yeah. So I'm sure you guys have. Go, Joey, eat more cookies, right? So other than getting married, how about you, Molly? How about you, Molly? You set goals for the year? Cool. Yes, Lincoln in his gray hair and his beard is saying yes. He's gonna wash. What's it called? There's stuff that's just for men. Just for men's beards. Just for boys.
Oh, is that testosterone?
Yes, I'm
Check into it.
Okay, I don't want to. I get too far into there, I'll regret it. So, so the ones that have done goals, they're, have you written them down, or is it just kind of in your head? Written them down. Okay, cool. This is great. So most people I talk to, well, you all are unique anyway. So, so special. True North is special. So really, I actually, when I think about putting something together, many times I'll go to an office and they're all like, yeah, I need to do that. And it's like February, like, yeah, I need to do that for 2023. Or they're still working on 2022's stuff. Or they're just winging it. So that makes this discussion even a little bit more difficult because you guys have already been told. So, but I do have something that I was going to share with you. You've already got yours, but maybe you can share with somebody else. But this is the one-page business plan. So we can do that.
Sure.
So. And you don't have a hand. If you just take care of that for me, please. So one-page business plan, and it's just categories. It's a structure, and I think that's one of the biggest things is to have a.
Get mine.
No, it's okay.
I'll get Molly's.
Look, the neighbors. They're coming. Okay, I'm done. Let's go. So just a one-page business plan. The obvious part is, just document what you did last year, right? So, how many units, what the volume was, your comp plan. I'm looking at this was designed for lenders, but I modified it a little bit. But what your average sales price, what your income was, and do you have any staff, those kind of things, and then what do you want to be for the current year. So it seems pretty obvious to look back and then look forward, put together some of those numbers. I will say that this is always helpful for me, for a lot of different reasons, but I like to do things in quarters, like what can I do in the next 90 days, that type of thing. There's actually, has anybody ever read the book 12-Week Year? Have you ever read 12-Week Year? And it's a concept of taking, treating 12 weeks, which is about 3 months, treating it like a year instead of planning for a full year and it's spread out over 12 months. Squeeze that into 12. So every week is a month. And the idea is that you realize you can't get everything done in 12, in a week that you would get done in a month. So you're like, well, what's the most important things? Forces you to think about what are the most important things, which is really what you need to be working on anyway. So what is the most important things? And so, but I like to look at these in 3 month increments, but also look at the top 5 business goals, top 5 personal goals, and I'm just going to share a few with you of my thoughts, of my own stuff. Holds me accountable. So, and when we talk about goals, have you heard of the S.M.A.R.T acronym for goals when you're setting goals? S.M.A.R.T. So specific for S.M.A.R.T, for S, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So you got to be specific. I want to lose weight this year. Well, in my case, I want to be 275 pounds, like right in front of everybody, showing you I'm 310 right now. So man, tell everybody that. That's so I want to be 275 by 4/1, right? so that is specific, it's measurable, it's attainable. It is relevant. Yeah? So there was a vice president of our company that I have known for the last 8 years, 57 years old. He had last week, no, week and a half ago, he had a blocked carotid artery and ended up with what's the word?
Stent?
Well, they did the surgery for that, but he ended up causing him to have
An aneurysm? Aneurysm?
stroke. Sorry.
Oh, stroke.
Yeah,
Okay.
stroke. So he passed away at 57 last week. And so it's like, he's pretty fit, you know. He didn't weigh 310 pounds like I do. But it's like, okay, the older you get, the more you think about those things. So, you know, for me, like I need to get a hobby, right? For personal goals, like my hobby's working, which is not really healthy. In case you were wondering if that's a healthy thing. So it's really not healthy. But I think that for me, it comes from years of struggling. It's like I could justify working all those hours because I was starting over after something else. But now it's like that fight or flight instinct of like I'm still fighting and there's nobody to fight. You know, so I'm still doing it. Our family, I want to go to Israel this year. We're on a family trip to Israel. So we got every friend of ours they'll do a trip every 2 years, and it's like, you know, put the money aside and make it happen. So let's see, and I just need, you know, need to be active. So part of the losing weight is just something that I can do. You know, walk 20 minutes every, you know, twice a week, which seems really, really low, but I got to start with something that I can get some encouragement, build some momentum, the big mo. So Matt, what's a personal goal for you this year?
I want to be more grateful every day.
Be more grateful. Cool. Joey, how about you?
Personal one?
Yeah.
I'm on your boat. I want to get down to 185.
185. So basically, you want to get down 100 pounds less than me. That feels kind of. I think it's great. That's great. So, Mr. Lincoln, what's your personal goal?
Personal?
Yeah.
No alcohol.
No alcohol. That's fantastic. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. So I won't pick on anybody else. So pick on the guys, the ladies. Don't mind you.
I've made it all year.
What's that?
I've made it all year.
I think that's great. You're off to a great start. Momentum, right there. Linking in the momentum. So how about one business goal?
We want to do 150 sides this year.
150 sides. That's fantastic. Okay. How about you, Joey?
I'm going to do more listings.
More listings. Yeah. Okay. And I'll pick on you, Molly. So what's a business goal this year?
Well, business and personal, live in the moment instead of stressing about everything. That's my goal.
You're going to be staying in real estate?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Right. You can't have everything. Okay.
Yeah, I know. They don't really go hand in hand, do
I think
they?
that's great. So how about you?
I want to list some homes.
List 10 homes. Specific. I like that. All right. Cool. How about you?
Lots of goals.
Yes, I suspected that. You have to pick one.
Leveraging and training more on things I don't know.
Oh, cool. Misty, how about you? I'm picking on you. What's your one goal for this year? One business goal for this year. Just pick one.
To have, well, in this quarter, I'm trying to think of how many that I said. I don't have them in front of me. But I do want to obtain more realtor relationships for our business, for your business.
Well, it's our business.
But more realtor relationships this year.
So
And I do have a set goal, but I don't remember what that is.
It's all right.
Off the top of my head.
So, and one of the things, as far as Misty is, one of the things that we worked together for over 4 years now, and so she's progressively, whatever task that she has taken on or role she's taken on, she's done extremely well at it. And so, one of the last things that we've been working on, last 9 months, I guess, have been working on a different role, she continues to take care of my database and other things, but we've created a role called a business development rep, which is kind of unique in the lending world. I guess it would be kind of like having a buyer's agent or a listing agent or something like that on the team. And so, we're investing in Misty, and she's stepping up. So it's kind of neat. So those are talking about business goals and personal goals, and then some of the things like skills to develop for me. When I'm looking at what is one skill in 2013 that I want to develop, and I think that it's to be a better closer, which may sound a little weird. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but for the last, well, I've been in sales for years and years and years, and my MO has been, I'm a nice guy, I really like you, let's be friends, and then you're going to read my mind that you're going to send me business, right? So I'm not going to stop being a nice guy, right? But there's also the part of, hey, be more clear on what I'm asking for. So and it sounds weird, but when we've done our own training, you ever done a SWOT analysis? You know what SWOT analysis is? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So if you ever get we do one personally, we want to do for business, we do one for business, and it's neat. What are my strengths? Well, what are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities out there? What are the threats in the business? And then from that, I remember years and years ago, I had a business that it was a small manufacturing business, and I realized the strength was my partner and I, we were good salespeople and good marketers. That was a strength. The weaknesses was that we were grossly underfunded to be manufactured. Right? There's a lot of money that goes into fabricating and things like that. And what were some opportunities? Well, at the time we did wood stoves, right? So that's a whole other story to tell. But at the time that gas prices and propane prices were going up, and so there was a lot of things like that. But we looked at that and said, well, instead of actually building a product, because we're not really well funded for that, let's private label a product. So we knew how to sell it, we knew how to market it, but we just take somebody else's product and make it ours. So those are some of the ways that we've used the SWOT analysis. But I think it's kind of a neat. Sometimes when I get bogged down, it's like overwhelmed with certain things. Just writing down your strengths it's like start out with some momentum. It feels good. It's like I actually know how to do some things. So I would encourage you to think that. Let's see. So and then this particular plan sets it up to where what are the top 3 activities for Q1. So based on 10 listings. So for the first quarter of this year, what are the action items that you're going to do in the first quarter to make that happen? So you have put me on the spot. But.
Yeah, well, I was trying to farm and I guess my action plan for that is to reach out to more, because we go through our leads and they're mainly buyers, but reach out to more past, once we have a home sold, reach out to those clients in the neighborhood,
Okay.
the home sellers in the neighborhood,
Okay.
type of thing, more cold calling.
Okay. Cool. So my mother, somebody sold a house in her neighborhood, and she gets this card and she's saving it for me because it's hey, we just sold in your neighborhood, and anything real estate she saves for me and she gives to me. So I'm like, that's got to be somewhat effective. I mean, does anybody do those? Just sold? Okay. So I didn't know how you guys did this. Cool. So, but that's neat. That's neat. So for me, when I look at, I came back from a conference about a month and a half ago, had 20 pages of notes, going to implement all these different things, and then I realized that our processes are when I looked at those items and I compared them to my goals, I realized, we do a lot of things right, and a lot of these things are just little tweaks. And for me, I've got to really focus first quarter especially. So I don't know what you all are feeling, but everything I'm hearing and feeling is the first quarter is going to be a little rough, right? In some ways, it's what you make it. But so in anticipation of that, it's like I'm focusing. I'm going to put 19 of those pages aside, and I'm going to focus on relationships, right? And learning to develop that skill of being a closer better. So those are that is, I still have those pages of notes that I want to do stuff with, but it's like do I change the gift that I give at closing? Well, that I could spend. I'm easily distracted, so I could spend a day and a half. Well, let me see, this is a better gift than that. So let's just send a gift we've always been sending, right? We already have a good plan in place. Let's focus on what really makes us business. So I think that's really to me really helpful. Like one technology that you want to implement. So Matt, what is one technology that you want to implement, let's say, this year? Is there a piece of technology?
Yeah, we have this system that we're paying monthly for and for other stuff that we're just scrubbing leads with. So we're pulling just from a neighborhood. We're pulling all of the names, how long you've owned it, if it's paid off, it's owner occupied, stuff like that. So we can do more targeting towards either selling residential or people who are sick of their multifamily. So
Okay, cool. How about technology? Is there a piece of technology you want to implement this year?
I'd like to figure out something for following up with past clients,
Okay.
staying on track, like some sort of automated system, and even
Yeah.
clients that are warm but not quite
Right.
ready.
Right.
I need to figure out some sort of organization for that for myself.
Okay, cool. So like a CRM that's got some drip campaigns and things like that built
Yeah.
into it. Okay, cool. And if I don't know that I'm sure you got a lot of resources here, people doing different things, but you know, we've got some resources too. So if you ever wanted us to help or comment about that, we did. Cool. So here's one last thing. So what's one thing you want to stop doing this year? What's one thing you want to stop doing?
I'm gonna need another second.
Matt, how about what's one thing you want to stop doing this year?
when I get stressed, I'll scroll social media.
Huh?
So I want to cut that out.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Lincoln? What's one thing we've already talked about the other day? This is not personal. Well, maybe it affects business too. So, what do you think you're going to stop doing? Like in your business, like some of the examples are like, delegate my emails, right? I'm going to stop doing that, or social media, or whatever that would happen to be. So anything that you want to, like some people are like, I'm going to stop doing Zillow, right? Or I'm going to stop doing this. And the reason I think that's an important question to ask yourself is because there's a lot of resources that you're allocating to do all these different things. We just don't have enough time to do it all. So coming up with the things that are the most effective, and putting all your resources into that, I think that's valuable. I mean, so anyway, I was stalling for you. So you got one?
I don't really have one specific up top of my head that we're stopping. There's a lot of stuff changing at the moment.
Sure.
For first quarter, for 3 to 6 months, that we're trying some different stuff this year. So
Okay.
in 3 to 6 months, there could be something stopping.
Yeah.
But right now, no.
Yeah. Okay. So all right, I stalled. Do you think you're going to stop doing it? Okay. It's all right. There's no wrong answer. Well,
It's really good.
I mean, if you're perfect, you're perfect. You know, I mean,
So much.
I'll let everybody else vote on that one, but I mean, but that's just just going over some of these things, and hopefully that helps you just get get the juices flowing for you, and might be something in there that would be a nugget that you take away. But I think that if you don't have, and I'm guilty of this, I've written. This is not in my notes, but has anybody ever written a letter to yourself from 5 years in the future? Have you ever tried that exercise? So it's really kind of interesting. It's like where are you at? And I'm going to write a letter to myself and say, well, it is the year 2030, right? And this is what my life looks like. This is what for me, I was like, well, I want to have a little mini gentleman's farm. I want to have, because in 5 years I might have a grandbaby or two, maybe, we'll see if they get busy, those kids, and where do I want to be business wise? I want to have, I want to be, I'm 54, I'm 59. There's different things, and write that letter to yourself that way, and then where I got it, the guy says, well, every morning I get up and I read that letter, right? Every morning I get up and read that letter, which is pretty cool because it, just crystallizes your thought, and you're always thinking about where I'm going to be in 5 years. Maybe you have 4 kids in 5 years, or. Well, I mean, you're getting married. I mean,
Don't point that in there.
Okay. So, you on the camera right there. So whatever that looks like, but it's a really neat exercise, and I did one in the fall, and I realized that I did it and I set it aside. And what I realized is just having it written and on my computer doesn't count. Like, I gotta have a physical piece of paper, and, you know, it's not something you share with everybody, you know, because, you know, there's financial goals, there's other goals and things like that, but like, I need to remember to take it out frequently. Maybe it's every day, maybe it's, you know, maybe it's not every day, but to look at those, because I'll look at it, and I'll look at it later, and I'm like, you know, I really wanted to do that, but I forgot that was a goal. It sounds kind of weird to say it that way, but anyway, that's my little spiel for today. But I did have one thing, because one of my skills that I need to develop is being a better closer. So, see, I'm practicing on it. I set you up for that one. So, I really think that the first quarter has a potential to be tough for realtors and lenders. You know, again, maybe not this room, because you guys are above average. Does anybody ever listen to Lake Wobegon? The old, have you ever listened to this? Yeah, all the
I forget his little
children are, no, and all the children are above average.
All the children, that's what it was.
Yeah, something like that. They talked about all the children in this little theoretical town. They're all above average. I don't think it works that way, but you all are all above average. So it's like, you gotta have somebody, right, that's gotta have to bring down so you can be average. But you know, we're you know, I'm still hearing that you know, there's a lot of change. Lenders are moving, lenders are changing, lenders are getting out of the business, and so you guys got a lot of, with the teams and the leadership that you all have, there's a lot of I don't know that you all need that like a lot of people do, but I mean, you pick on some of those EXP guys that are like Lone Rangers out there. Well, you remember, you know, and nothing wrong with that, but it's like, if you're wired for that, that's great. But it's like, if you need a culture to be a part of, then, you know, we try to put some things together that might be helpful for somebody. So, but we would love to, you know, thank you all for your business for last year, and we appreciate it, and we'd love to be a part of it going forward. And anything we can do to help, you know, we want to be a resource, and we want to be givers and not takers. So, but sometimes they got to remember to ask. Not a take, it's an ask, right? Right, Matt? So, thank you all. Appreciate you letting us come in.
Thank you, Tim.